Hi Tenex, my name is Melissa Hendrickse, and beyond my CV, I think one thing that, or one word used that I would use to describe myself is very resilient. I hope you don't mind. I have taken notes, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing because I didn't want to stumble over my words. So when you have a look at my CV, you'll see things like I've worked in the investment and client services industry for 17 years. You'll see my skills, you'll see my capabilities, you'll see systems. But what you don't see is the Melissa that is calm when dealing with a frustrated client. What you don't see is the Melissa that has the patience to deal with a query or an escalation from start to finish to ensure that that client has the best possible outcome. And what you don't see is the Melissa that has the emotional intelligence to build lasting relationships with clients. Not only clients, but colleagues, um, internal teams, and clients on the level of even if that client has come in with and had a negative experience, my CV doesn't show the ability to turn that client's perception around and assure them that 10x is more than capable of handling whatever it is that they have with them. And that's the part of my CV that you don't see. Um, if I could add something unconventional to my CV, it would probably be um, moments that shaped me, because a lot of the things that I've learned in the industry is not from didn't come from experience or title or a qualification. It came from dealing with difficult clients and navigating my way through that. I learned that through many years ago, having brokers, shouting on the phones and ending up in tears, um, and building resilience through that and navigating my way through that. As a young person starting out in the financial industry, I found myself in my early 20s crying because advisors would be screaming at me. And something my CV doesn't show is those years, of dealing with that, and the resilience to go back every day and deal with it better and grow. And how do I deal with this? It's not something you take personally. They also have a job to do. That's something that has come with experience, but your CV often doesn't show that. It doesn't show where you come from. Um, it just shows, you have all these capabilities, but it doesn't show the stepping stones of how you've actually had to get there. And then I think another thing that has also shaped me um, into the person as well as the professional that I am today is being a mother. And I think that being a mother has really taught me that even if you are tired, even if you are stretched, I still have the ability to lead with calmness, to have patience, and to want the best for my clients. And and that is also something that my CV doesn't show. When I take on a client or a call or a query, I'm very passionate about resolving whatever issue has been brought to my attention, and also handling that from start to finish, um, as well as updating the client regularly so that they feel assured and that they're not uncertain about anything, and that they don't have to call in and speak to another consultant and then have to explain the whole story again, because that often frustrates them. And I think motherhood has taught me that no matter what struggles you are facing, be it in your personal life or be it at work, you can do it. You can still do it. If this is something that you are passionate about, you can and you will do it. I think over the years, I've also learned working with various people, I've also learned that working in client services is not for everyone. I don't believe that, it's a skill that you can learn, because if it's not for you, eventually you won't have patience with that client. You won't have the necessary calmness that you need deal with a difficult client. And I believe that I possess the characteristics to deal with clients and to work in client services, because I have the characteristics needed for the job. I remain calm even when I'm pressed or being shouted at. I've learned to listen first, and not interrupt, and sort of be that soundboard for the client. So that's also something, I guess, that your CV doesn't demonstrate, that you might have the necessary skill set, but what will determine whether or not you do a good job or you can do the job is if you, as a person, possess those skills, the calmness, the ability to be a sounding board for somebody. Oftentimes you are that person's first contact, so they're going to shout at you. They are going to, sort of feel like you are being attacked. And that's okay. You just there, you listen, you make them feel heard, and you make them feel supported, and you make them feel like you are there, and you are there to help, and you are there to resolve. That's really important to me, seeing the clients as not just clients, but they are people. They are people with families, and whatever is happening in that situation is important to them. And I often think of it, if that was me and I'm calling into a contact center, how would I like to be treated? Do I want to be spoken to by somebody that's just like very, you can hear sort of that they don't feel like doing what they needed to do? Or do I want to feel assured that this person can and will resolve the issue that I have? So that's often what doesn't get shown in or on your CV. I'm just looking at my notes to see that I didn't miss anything. I think another thing about me is that I am very composed under pressure. I'm very adaptable, because in this industry you need to be adaptable. If you don't have that ability, you will stumble. It's very fast paced. You need to be able to adapt quickly, and that's a skill that I do have. I think also at the end of the day, I don't only want to do a good job. I want to know that the clients that I've dealt with for that day, I've helped to the best of my ability. I've done everything within my ability, as well as what we can do as a business, to service that client and to service them well. And that is really important to me. It's important to me that when a client speaks to me, and it's a client that I've dealt with before, they're like, "Oh, Melissa, so nice to hear from you." That's something that means something to me, because I've dealt with you in a particular way before. It's a pleasure for you to speak to me. You want to speak to me. And so that's really important to me as well. I think working in a contact center, I've also learned that if mistakes get made, they see it as 10x as a whole. They don't see it as an individual. And as somebody that works for that particular company, I always want us to put our best foot forward. And so I believe in doing the best that I can to portray that, because they don't see Melissa. They see Melissa from 10x. And when they see Melissa from 10x, I want them to see it as a Melissa from 10x, and not a Melissa from 10x. So that's really important to me. Thank you so much. I hope I answered all your questions, and thank you for considering me for this position. Bye.